The reason I'm saying this, you have to understand, this isn't my charge. I'm telling you what they say. After that article came out, they were around town here saying, we caused that article on Scientology on behalf of Eli Lilly.
You have affidavits?
Let me tell you what else I have.
You have affidavits?
From them, of course not. You think they admit it?
Well, I mean...
but they're the ones who said it.
You're saying they said it.
Let me tell you what I do have. Let me tell you what I do have.
Go ahead.
I go one step further. I then later found out, and you didn't know this, that Eli Lilly ordered a reprint of 750,000 copies of Time magazine before it came out, reported in the Washington Post. But most importantly, here's what I do have. I put in a call to the people, the advertising firms who set this up. I called up JWT, J. Walter Thompson in New York. I spoke to the CEO. He said he would look into it and get back to me. He never did. I called up a man over in England who owns all these advertising and PR conglomerates for Eli Lilly, a man named Martin Sorrell. Ted, I asked him 10 times on the phone to deny that he had set this up on their behalf. He wouldn't do it.
All right.
We put in a call to Eli Lilly. Their response was, we can neither confirm nor deny. This is a pretty heavy allegation I'm making. I'm only making it because what I heard from their people, and they won't deny it. So for you to challenge me on it, you have to understand they're not challenging me on it. And furthermore, our story that came out in USA Today covers this entire matter. They haven't called in once to correct any fact in it.
When you say your story, you mean your advertisement?
Well, there was actually an insert in there that laid out the entire way that came about.
Let us get back during the few minutes we have left in this broadcast to discussing Scientology a little. And I made a suggestion at the beginning of this program, or near the beginning of the program, that in order to progress within your church, it costs money, right? If I'm poor, how far can I progress?
Pretty far.
How far?
Well, I'll tell you this, by the time you start getting anywhere near the top, I guarantee you wouldn't be poor anymore, because generally people in Scientology do better if they honestly make it.
But let us assume there are some folks out there who are just poor. They don't have any money, they don't have any friends or relatives who have money. Is this the right religion for them?
Oh, absolutely. This is the right religion for anybody. In Scientology, you're dealing with yourself. You see, here, we have this in common with all religions of Earth. All religions of Earth try to help man to be better and to cause him spiritual improvement. Now, most in the Judeo-Christian society, they say if you have faith and you live your life, that you'll achieve spiritual salvation in the afterlife. We believe in spiritual salvation, but in the here and now.
Oh, I think,
and that's what we deal with.
I think both Judaism and Christianity, or the proponents of those two religions, would argue with you that they certainly set forth quite a number of rules and recommentions. Oh,
and now, I'm not disputing that. I am not trying to badmouth any other religion. And Ted, I would never do that. All I'm saying is that they have their way. What's different in Scientology is how we approach it. There are higher levels of awareness as a spiritual being, and that's what we're dealing with in Scientology. Now, for me to talk to you about this and for you to have a reality on it, I don't think I'm going to get that, and I'll tell you why. You don't have a reality on it. You see, Scientology is a very personal thing. You ask why somebody would do it. I'm not making the claims for the church, Ted. Millions of Scientologists around the world are making that claim. You ask them, they are happier, they do feel they're more able, they do better in life, they know it has helped them. They say it. You can't take that away, and just like I wouldn't take that away from any other religion, when somebody then comes about and says that Scientology doesn't do that, are they telling me I don't have my own feelings?
No, I'm just asking you, and it strikes me as a reasonable question, but if you can't answer it, you can't answer it, that there must be a way of explaining, without going into any of the innermost secrets of the Church of Scientology, and I understand your church has some secrets, there has to be a way of explaining what it is you do that's different.
What it is that we do? That's not very difficult at all. We approach it on a one-on-one basis. There is absolutely a technology of Scientology. There's a philosophy which covers the subject of life. I started talking about communication earlier on. Well, of course, it covers interpersonal relationships, a million subjects. I don't have enough time all night to go into them. But separately, there is a technology that's applied to you as an individual. Actual one-on-one counseling, where you look. Well, number one, you have to understand the first premise. You are a spiritual being. You look. You find out more about yourself, who you are, where you have been. A man who can look back and do that is a very courageous individual. A lot of that includes looking back on your own past and areas where you went astray. That's similar to other religions.
It's also similar to psychiatry.
Listen, I'm not similar to psychiatry at all. I brought one piece of paper here because I knew this was going to come up. This is psychology, which covers the subject of religion. It's called religiosity and pre-Oedipal fixation.
Let me stop you 1 second. I just want to tell any members of our audience who may just have joined us and not have been with us, my guest is David Miscavige. You are now the head of the Church of Scientology.
Yes.
Right. Okay, please.
This is what they say about religion. They say abstract. Religious.
Who is this again?
This is out of the Journal of Genetic Psychology. This is March 1985. And I want you to understand why I don't like being compared to these people, because I'm in a completely separate realm. Religious belief and observance derive from pre-Oedipal oral and anal drives according to psychoanalytic theory. Specifically, belief in deity and such concepts as the afterlife are consonant with oral needs for nurturance from an omnipotent benefactor, coupled with the denial of death. Observance of ritual, and particularly church attendance, is a function of the anal need for regular activity and the anal compulsive need for regularity and repetitiveness. This is an offense to any religion. I am not like these people. We deal with the spirit. They say man's a body. We separate right there. We're interested in bringing persons to a higher plane. They deal with the neurotics. They want to bring him up and tell him how to solve his problems. In Scientology, Ted, we want to bring the individual up to a higher level of ability so that he's more intelligent, he has better reaction time, he's more able and intelligent so that he can handle his life better. Now you've handled something. Explain
to me, and again going back to the pieces that we saw before, and by necessity, even though we ended up doing 15 minutes on these pieces, you end up compressing things.
Sure.
And I don't want to lead people astray. Talk to me for a moment about the e-meters. Those are those handles that you see people holding in the pictures, and they are dealing now with an auditor. An auditor is the person who, this is the one-to-one.
Well, here's what happens.